underscore. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are here to not only celebrate Latinos and celebrate travel, but to learn about how to budget our trips. So a little bit about Latino World Travelers. So I am Vanessa Fonder. I am the founder of this community, Latino World Travelers. And my goal is to inspire my community and empower them to experience the world, to go out there and travel. Because when I travel, I didn't see people who look like me. Whenever I went to the different countries, I never saw Latinos, especially Latinos from the US. So I took it upon myself to create a Facebook group and create a community. Then we expanded to Instagram, and now our reach is even bigger. But one of the things that I always saw Latinos that struggle with was their financial resources and being able to make travel part of their lifestyle. So in my goal to diversify the face of travel, I decided to host this specific workshop about how to budget your money. Now, coming up with a realistic travel budget is crucial, especially if you're planning a vacation, because it acts as a guide of how much money you need to be saving. So you set that goal of how much you should be saving in order to be able to travel. It lets you know also if you can afford a certain trip or not, and then you can accommodate, oh, what locations fit within my budget. So today, however, you will realize that your dream trip is not necessarily about the cost, but actually how you can make it within your reach. So we're gonna teach you tools for you to make it happen. So you're gonna be able to set that budget and work your way backwards. And that's what we have today with us, the incredible financial coach and dear friend, Laura. She is the Fortune coach, and she will teach you how to build a travel fund and know exactly how much money you need to save for that dream trip, how to budget for that trip. So you have an idea of what is the cost and where you can cut cost to make it less expensive. And she will share with you tips, resources, so you can add up those numbers and book that vacation of your dreams. So I'm really excited, and I hope you're ready to take off and make your dreams a reality of traveling the world so we can see more people who look like us. So without further ado, let's welcome Laura, and please, more than welcome to use the chat to ask any questions. We're also gonna have a Q&A at the end, so you can ask Laura any questions that you have. So Laura, thank you so much for being here, and take it.
Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you for everyone that's here. I'm gonna start our little presentation, and I will tell you a little bit more. Let me see. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So yeah, tonight we're gonna be talking about how to budget for your trips. As you said, my name is Laura Fortuna. I am a money coach and CPA, and I am an immigrant like many people in this group, most likely. And my mission with the Fortune Coach is to help Latinas to live our best lives by teaching them how to manage their money. And so tonight's agenda is all about traveling. We're gonna cover about some budgeting basics, what the travel fund is, how we can budget for a trip, and also the resources that Vanessa and I have used in the past to kind of supplement or basically find ways to generate more money or to find money to cover for those expenses. So without further ado, let's get on this. Let's get started. So if you can tell me on the chat, leave your answers. What do you struggle the most when budgeting for a trip? What are the things that kind of give you a little headache? What is it that even questions that you can have that you have about budgeting and budgeting for travel? So please leave those questions there. And at the time of the Q&A, Vanessa we can address those questions. So the first things first, in order for you to be able to create a travel budget, you first need to get in the habit of understanding what budgeting is and budgeting for your everyday expenses. Because the way you understand, the way you can find money for traveling and all these other wonderful goals that you have is by obviously creating like a having purpose of your money and understanding what your current spending habits are. So as a general rule, a budget is basically as a guide for you to understand the elements of a budget are very simple: your income, your fixed expenses, and your variable expenses. And what should be left is money that you can use for travel, to build in an emergency fund. This is something that you create on a monthly basis, ideally before the month starts, so that you know where you're going to be spending your money ahead of time. And as you go through your months, you don't just leave your budget on paper. Let's say you create at the beginning of the month and you just forget about it. The goal is that throughout the month, maybe twice a month, halfway through the month and at the end, that you can go back and review how you're doing, how you're progressing. So don't just leave it on paper. You should be tracking your spending and compare that to what you budgeted at the beginning of the month. And how will that look like on paper? This is a budget that I created, and that's something that you can get by going on the link in my, and I think you, Vanessa, can drop the link where they can request the budget, and you can, in case you're not in the habit of creating a budget, you can use that template that I have right there on the screen. And as you see, some of your fixed expenses are very simple, are fixed because they don't change. Your rent, let's say, even though your utilities can change over time, you kind of have an idea. If you are in the city, you have a train pass, you pay your minimum the minimum payments on your debt, your internet, and then you have things that vary over time, like your groceries, your entertainment, dining out. But the important thing about budgeting, and that's what I like to do, is I got in the habit of paying myself first. That means that before I pay for all my expenses, the bills, as we call them, I like to first get myself in the habit of putting a little bit of money away every month and make that as a fixed element of my budget, so that I spend with what's left, or force myself to spend, pay my bills and kind of manage myself with what's left. But the way I do that is I told my employer to split my let's say paycheck into different bank accounts. One that goes directly to my savings account, and the other one to my checking account. And that way, if I don't see it in my bank account, then I'm not counting on it. I have to basically use what's in my checking account to pay for all my bills. And this can be as a small number as, $50, $20, whatever you can work with. But the habit is basically to force yourself to save first and then spend, as opposed to hoping that you're going to have some money left at the end of the month. And then, as you go through your month and you kind of find something nice that you like and you spend it, then you're never going to have any money to save. So if you do it first, then you will feel about spending the rest of your money. And another way that you can budget your money, if you don't like to use a spreadsheet like this, is to use the 50-30-20 guide, which is 50% of your income goes to your needs expenses, like your bills. 30% will be to your wants, which is like travel and all these nice things that you like to do for yourself, and 20% to your savings. 20% might sound too much, but as I said, when you're beginning to save, you can even do a 5%, a certain amount of money The goal is to, instead of doing 50% of your needs and the other 50 for spending and in things that you want, the 50, 30, 20% gives you a guide to see how you're doing, and you can apply that to your current spending and see if this is exactly how you're spending your money. Also, it's more difficult in places where high cost of living, like New York, California, that sometimes rent could be very expensive. So sometimes I can see that the needs could be more than 50%. And even before you, one thing that I want to make sure you guys understand is that even before we set up a goal of like buying a house or going on big trips, our main goal, first financial goal, should be to build an emergency fund. And that will allow us to basically allow us to have peace of mind, to cover any unexpected emergencies, like, especially with where we live in now, during the pandemic, not having a job definitely could have been, having an emergency fund could have helped many people to supplement their income during this time. Some budgeting tools that you can use if you are more tech savvy and you like to use apps will be Pocket Card, Mint, the app called You Need a Budget, and Every Dollar. Let's see. And how are we doing here? Let's see, everyone. Yeah. And the idea is that over time, you can create a travel fund that becomes a permanent line in your budget. And that way, that also becomes of your monthly planning. Yes, I'm paying for my bills, I'm paying for this, but I'm also saving X amount of money for this travel fund that I'm gonna build. And a travel fund is basically a sinking fund, also known as sinking fund, which is basically a set amount of money that you have on an account where you set up a certain amount of money every month or every paycheck, and with intention to spend it later. Many people like to have one fund in general that they set up a certain amount, let's say $5,000 a year, and then they cover all their trips through there. Other people tend to have a mini travel fund for each trip. That way they kind of can separate their money, and also helps them to keeps people accountable. If you like to do it with cash, you can use physical envelopes and you put their name on it and you put the money aside there. I like to put all these sinking funds or funds for specific purposes in online savings account. One that I have that I really like is Capital One 360, because it allows you to have like sub accounts within your main account. And then you can assign a name to it, and then you just put the money there as periodically as you want. And the other important thing is that you set those transfer automatically, or at least, as I said, either you can withdraw from your checking account automatically, or as I mentioned before, I split my paycheck into different accounts, and that makes it automatic and forces me to actually save for those goals. But before we know how much we should be saving, how can we even come up with that number? So that's where how do we know how much do we save, and how much money do we put in our travel account? That's where the travel budget comes in. And for that, I'm gonna share with you guys a different, let's see. Let's do another one. Gonna go into what your actual travel budget looks like. Okay, I think I'm stuck on that one. Yeah, Yes, now we're here. I think we are. So we usually have the habit of,
Oh, we
you know,
can't see anything.
yeah,
You
you
want to?
cannot?
No.
No?
You want to project the travel budget, the
Yes,
document? Oh, I can do it then, and I will send it to them.
I have it here, but
I will share it. So let me see, share screen.
okay, I got it. I got it. I
You got
think I
it?
got it.
Okay, so I will stop sharing it.
Yeah. Can you see it?
No.
Okay, let's see. What about now?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So before we go, it's better if when we go into something with all the information instead of going into it blind. Or I know that when I first, one of my first trips, all I did was how to get there, where am I going to be staying, how much am I going to eat? And then, and then by the time I came back, my credit card was, I put so much stuff on my credit card that even that definitely taught me the lesson that you need to do your best to anticipate all these expenses. So I made a list of, and Vanessa is going to share the link to this worksheet that I hope that for you guys to take. And the only thing I ask is that when you get to this spreadsheet, you press on make a copy, and then that will, you can make a copy or either download it as a Microsoft Excel, and then you can have your own copy. Otherwise, my copy will be changed. So, so make your copy. Some of them, I like this travel budget template because, it definitely has a lot of things. Some of the common things are, we forget about pre-travel expenses right now. If you're going to a place that you need COVID testing, some things that we don't tend to get our travel insurance, even caring for who you're gonna put your kids or send your kids to, who's gonna take care of your kids or your pet. Clothes, it's one that I think we all like to buy new clothes and go and have like all our looks to take our pictures for the gram. So that's definitely some expenses that you should be including. Transportation, things like going to the airport. It's like really, once you decide where you want to go, think about it the whole journey. From the moment you are going to pack your bags to how you're going to get to the airport, what you're going to do there, then you're going to take your, if you're obviously traveling with an airplane, but just imagine all the different activities that you will be doing ahead of time, and then you put those into these categories. Some things that we also use a lot these days is internet. Some people buy SIM cards, snacks. If you can take snacks with you, that helps a lot. But basically, all the expenses that could possibly happen. Like if I were to go to the Dominican Republic, I will have to budget for groceries that I'm going to buy at wherever I'm staying. If I'm staying with a family member, maybe I'm going to go to the supermarket and get some groceries, tips that you give at the restaurants, and the fun part, obviously, you want to try a budget for the fun stuff. So entrance fees to the different sites that you want to see, either tour, tips that you can give to the tour guides, also any entrance to concerts, all of that, you can put that in part of your budget. And very important is to also have a little line where you do a line for unexpected things that can come up, like an emergency kind of line, where imagine getting, I don't know, getting a stomach flu, and you have to go and see a doctor there, or for whatever reason you missed your flight and your let's say what your insurance is not gonna, let's say usually insurance don't cover your missed flight, so you basically have to buy another flight, or you know, things that are really unexpected. It's good to have a little bit of a cushion there to help you to not, you know, have a bad experience and enjoy your trip better. Another thing that I think people overlook is foreign transaction fees. If you're taking with you, let's say you're planning to use a credit card or you're using a debit card, your bank will charge you fees for using ATMs, and your credit card user will charge a transaction fee if you're spending in another currency. So usually it's like 3%. Those are things that you should definitely contact your bank or your credit card issuer and ask them. It's also on the information for the credit card. So otherwise you can just call them and ask them. And one thing that's important to do is also when you're traveling, you want to call them and let them know you will be traveling so that they don't block your transactions when you are abroad, because they might think those are suspicious activity. So if you call them ahead of time, you know, the transactions will go through. So in this budget, you basically can do your research ahead of time, estimate how much you're going to be spending. And as you go through your trip, you can log your transactions in this different kind of buckets, different cells, and it will add up your total. And then at the end, you can compare what you planned with what you actually spent. And then once you have that information, then you can decide, okay, if this is what I expect to spend in my trip that I'm going to take 6 a year from now, then you can divide, and let's say starting in September, starting in October, if you're doing a trip next year in October, that's 12 months. You divide, let's say your $3,000-$4,000 that you need for this trip, divided by 12, that gives you a certain amount of money that you will then include in your monthly budget and will allow you to have that money ready, or have the majority of that money ready when you go and when you go on your trip. And it allows you to, you know, have money when you're ready to book the flight. And that just gives you a peace of mind then, and it actually helps you to make it happen. Many people, I think, dream about going on a trip, but never sit down and actually you know, put it on paper and set up a goal, a realistic goal, and can see it every month, see the number that if I can put $75 or $50 every month, this is how I'm going to go on that trip. So planning is definitely, I think, I know that doing a budget and the financial part is not the most, and you're not looking forward to it, but I think this allows you to definitely appreciate your experience better when you, you know, if you treat every aspect of the trip as important. And this is definitely one that I want you to be more, to kind of have more love for it. So and then, so we can move on from this part of the, let's see, any questions so far? Yeah, the travel budget. Yeah, okay. Vanessa have some, just looking at the chat. So let me see. And now we can move on to the actual, how you can supplement some of the resources. Let's see. We're seeing everyone sees my screen, right? Yeah, yes, okay. So sometimes you don't necessarily need to have, there are tricks you can, resources and tricks to support your travel expenses. And one that I absolutely love are the credit card points and rewards and sign-up bonuses. Obviously, one thing I want to say, this is a very tricky one because many people that don't know how to use a credit card, definitely should first learn how to use a credit card, because trying to follow and like a travel hack through credit cards can be it could be a little bit dangerous if you don't have self-control. But the purpose, like the reason why I want you guys to get in the habit of doing a budget is because if you have a budget and you can then use credit cards to basically spend for the things that you already have in your budget. And then if your card has a rewards program and points that you can, all these benefits that you can take advantage, you're basically, it's the easy way to fund your travels, and also whatever other goals, and even if you're someone that likes to eat out a lot, credit cards would allow you to do more of that. So this is the graphics that I have here. It's from a card that I used this year. But credit cards with points and rewards basically allow you to earn points in purchases that are worth a fixed amount of points or miles sometimes. Sign-up bonuses are usually there are credit card offers where they tell you, oh, you get X amount of points if you spend $3,000 within the first 3 months of opening your account. So in a few months ago, I had 32,000 points that I got by, it's the Chase Freedom Unlimited, where I got 1.5% cash back on every purchase that I made. It also gave me if I book travel within the portal of Chase, then I got 3.5%. I didn't do that, so I got 0 points for that. I learned that after the fact, but I definitely took advantage of the 1.5% on all my purchases, and also in other categories that they had. And then with those points, then I could redeem those points for travel. Like like you see there, you can plan a trip and use that for travel. And the $83 is what's left. I have there are 8,385 points left, and that translates into $83 that I can use for booking a trip. Or I can also use it for dining, buy gift cards, and also I can basically have that money deposited directly into my bank account, and then I can use that to plan those trips. So that's like money that I'm generating with my regular spending. It's not that I created I went on a shopping spree on the supermarket, on the mall or online because I wanted to get more points. Those were basically everyday expenses, trips to the supermarket. I was going about my business, and I generated points that then I used on a trip to go and visit my brother recently. Some credit cards are good for that. They're known are the Chase Sapphire Reserve, airline cards like the JetBlue and United. I think Vanessa likes an American Express that she always talks about. But make sure you understand the benefits, the annual fee. Sometimes they have annual fees. The Chase Freedom Unlimited that I have doesn't have any annual fee, but I know that the Chase Sapphire Reserve definitely does. Another resource, it's called Open Table, that Vanessa also likes, and I learned that.
I love it.
Basically, Open Table is it's a website where you can make reservations, and there it saves like all the reservations that you do. But the good thing about it is that you earn points by doing reservations, and over time you can here there's a graphic that they had on their website that you can use it for discounts, hotel discounts, also for gift card, and also restaurant discounts. So if you're going to another city and you want, you can basically ahead of time redeem those points that you have with OpenTable and use it on your restaurants that you go to. So I thought that was very interesting. The other one is airlines that have a dining program where they have, and it looks like all airlines are part of a common dining program, where if you join this program, it's for free, you don't have to pay anything, and you can earn points and miles with the airline just by going to restaurants that participate in this program. And some of the names are, I know American has one, Delta, JetBlue, and United. And that if you use their specific program and think about the airlines that you always use, by doing this through their dining program, you are accumulating miles with the specific airline. Another one is mypoints.com that allows you to get, if you have, they have a list of retailers that by buying things through this My Points portal at the different retailers that they have, you accumulate points, and then those you can redeem those points into gift cards. And you can also, if you have a PayPal account, you can transfer it into your PayPal account. And we know that your PayPal account, you can transfer money into your bank accounts. Or if you see here, if I have booked trips through Expedia, so that's it's good that you can, if you want, you can use your everyday purchases to earn points in other places that then translates into travel money, basically. Okay, and this is a good one. I'm a big Airbnb user. So Airbnb partnered with Delta, where you first have to you have a, let's say if you are in a place where Delta, in a Delta hub, or that's kind of your airline, you can, through this website that they have, it's called airbnbdelta.com, I forgot, but you can look it up. You can put Airbnb and Delta Travel, or Airbnb and Delta, and you will see that you basically put in your Delta SkyMile number and book through that portal. It will take you to Airbnb, and by using through this way, you earn miles for money that you spend on your Airbnb stays. So I thought if I would have known that before, I mean, I have used Airbnb a lot, and it's a good way, to basically have free miles if that's something that you do all the time. So I think with that being said, yes, we are right on time. So let me see. Now we're going to move on to the Q&A part of this presentation. And Vanessa, if you can, we can get some of the questions in the chat, and also we open the mics now for everyone that can ask questions. It could be budgeting questions that you have about traveling in general, and we can share our experiences and what we have done to basically travel hack. So let's see. yeah, one of the issues are, see, Vanessa said she struggles with estimating how much I need. So definitely doing the budget helps you to estimate as much as possible. And that way, if let's say you then can go about your travel, that just allows you to have a better estimation of how much you will spend ahead of time than to have the surprise that you way under budgeted, way underestimated, and then you have to put everything on your credit card if you have a credit card. Imagine that. There are people that don't use credit cards.
So is it possible maybe to use the travel budget guide and like do a mock of like, oh, if I were to go on a trip to, let's say Mexico,
Yeah,
let's create like what would kind of it would cost and how much will I need to save to meet that goal?
yeah. So the first thing I do when I want to go on a trip, and you can write this down. If I were to go to Mexico, the first thing I do is I go into TripAdvisor and The Lonely Planet. Those are two websites that I like to go, and even if it's a destination where I have no one to go to, just gives me reviews of like things to do in that city or in that country. And that gives me an idea of like, okay, if I go there, this is what I want to do. And from there, I can start doing the research on, okay, if I want to go to what I want to go to the Frida Kahlo Museum in Mexico, then I will research, go on the website for the Frida Kahlo Museum, and basically start, thinking, where do you want to go? What is it that you want to do there? And then researching the price to go there, but also getting reviews. TripAdvisor, as I said, is not TripAdvisor. Yes, TripAdvisor. It's a place where you can get a lot of ideas, and people leave reviews, and you can even get some tips from the same people that are going there recently. And the easy thing also to do is to see, estimate how much is the cost of a flight will be. And for that, I use Google Flights. Definitely you can use Expedia to get an estimation, but I like to use Google Flights. In that, usually you can look into the date way ahead of time. So let's see. Also, the website on Lonely Planet, if you put this specific city, there is a section where it says money and cost, and there it tells you, it gives you an estimation of how much money, like for meals per day, how much you should be spending. And that gives you can then calculate a cost per day. If I'm going to this experience, let's say to a museum, and I'd add up the different meals, that gives you a cost per day as well. Lisandra said that she's all about cutting unnecessary costs. Yeah. Vanessa said, yeah, I hope you got the travel budget. Yeah. So many freebies. Vanessa, yeah. All right.
When you go to Lonely Planet, where do you see the cost per day? Because I'm on the website, but I
So
don't see it. Can you show us maybe so we can have an idea where it is?
yes. So let me share that. So let's say that we are going, let's pick something. We're going to oh, we're going to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. So here you can even see about gives you information, top attractions, but the area where you can get that is in the, they have a guidebook, planning tools, money and cost. Here it tells you what the daily cost. By the way, Vietnam is a very, even though it's far away, it's a very affordable country. So this gives you different range. If you want to really do a top end experience, it gives you even a breakdown of how much you need. How much do you need per day? It gives you other tips. So that's I like that about the Lonely Planet, and obviously if you also follow travel bloggers, there are many blogs online that you can find about specific cities, and that's a good. Those are very good places to get information. Yeah. Yeah. So now we want to open the mics. You can open your mics and kind of ask questions. If there's anything that you want to share, things that you have done during your travels, this is definitely a time where you can do that. Vanessa says that this was very helpful. Thank you, Vanessa. Guys, you're very quiet tonight. Okay, then we can maybe do a little example. We can use my wonderful sheet that I had and see how the budget will work. We can spend a few moments on that. And this is a test that I have. Let's say I'm going to be going on a trip to visit my grandma in the Dominican Republic. And this is, I know for sure that it's gonna cost like $150 to leave my dog somewhere. When I come back, I would have to get a COVID test. It's around $30 there. The spreadsheet will be adding up as you go. I know that my airfare will be like around $400. Let's say $35 for checking in my bag. I want to go on a little weekend, and this is a 7-day, let's say a 7-day trip that I'm going to. I want to spend 2 nights in a Airbnb that I like. And oh, is it only now that it got sharing, or has it been sharing for a while?
I see it. I've been seeing it. Yeah.
Okay. And then with daily meals, let's say I want to spend $50, let's say $40, because I'm not gonna make my grandmother cook for me every single day. That gives me a $280 and 100 for groceries. And I'm going to go to a few museums and let's say I'm also going to, let me include $20 for some food that I know I'm gonna get at the airport. And of course, the Dominican Republic, there's gonna be like some beer. Let's include that in the snack. So
That's for sure.
that's like overall, and also there's always gonna be an emergency. So let me have $100 there. And let's say I know that before I go there, I will have to, I will buy some clothes. Always have to buy some clothes and a new sunscreen. Let's say it's $15. So far, and this is knowing that I will spend more. This is like a conservative trip of 1,780. It usually I know I will spend more on a trip to the Dominican Republic. So I know that there will be a lot of knowing myself, there's going to be a lot of spontaneous things. So I know I will add like $200 more to that. So $2,000 sounds like more reasonable. And also I can just go back also, if I have done a trip in the past, I can go back to, let's say, some of the records and see how much I spent in my previous trip. But this gives me an idea of how much I'm planning to spend. Then if I know if this is, let's say, 6 months from now, I can just take that amount and divide that. Where is my division? Oh, divide that into 6 months from now. That tells me if I need to save $330. Let's say if it's in 9 months, 220. So then I have to find ways to either generate more money or look at my expenses. Why am I going to cut back to make that happen? And if I can factor into that calculation the rewards that I'm getting through my credit card. And also all these different, there are people that use, I think, other things like Rakuten, where you can scan, is it that you scan? I know that they get rewards for it and get cash back for that. So those are definitely ways that you can generate more money. So with that information, my monthly budget, I know per month, I will set up like my account, and I know it's going to be deposited there. And even if you use your credit cards to buy, let's say if you don't have the full amount to pay for all your expenses right away, at least by getting into this habit of saving this money ahead of time, then if you use your credit card, you at least know it's going to get paid for because you have the money there. And then as I start paying for things, let's say when I buy my my flight, then I will put that there. I will put my actual airfare, and it will, that way, as you go through your trip, you want to track the actual, and so that you can start comparing. Even though I planned, let's say, to spend for an Airbnb with $300, it turned out that at the time it was $450. At least there you know where your money went, and you can use that information from that trip for the other trips that you do in the future. And then you can basically use this document to track all your different trips that you did. So let me see. Yes, that's a good point. There's a tourist card fee for the US, for the Dominican Republic. Definitely, if you need, you mean lose, if you need a visa to travel to the Dominican Republic? No, there's just a tourist card that you basically pay. I think airlines are required to take that from your trip, I think, when you pay for your airfare. Unexpected checks in the mail. Yeah. Yeah, you get it where you land. That's true. Yeah. So any last minute questions? I think we have 5 minutes before Vanessa has to jump into, before we end this wonderful class.
Yes, please ask any questions that you may have. That's why she's here.
I just wanted to say thank you because there's stuff that I had not considered. Like last year this past summer when I went to Puerto Rico, they offered me insurance. I was like, insurance? I've never booked insurance, but I took it anyway. And it turns out that for whatever reason, COVID or anything, you would not lose that airfare or that your ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
So I didn't even know that, but I paid for it anyway because I said, what the heck? But now I know to consider that. And as you were saying, God forbid you get sick over wherever you're at, you still need that insurance money. I had not thought about that either, to even add that just in case. Because I mean, like you, I like Google Ticket, because they track it for you and they let you know when's the best time to buy it. They keep sending me information when I'm looking. Same thing for hotels. They'll let me know, this time is good, or wait a little bit longer. So I like that about the Google. But I do look for places to go to, and like you said, look at the reviews that people say. Is it worth even spending, to go visit certain, I guess, areas or attractions?
Yeah.
But definitely, I like that. I like the budget, and like I said, there's things I had not even considered. So
Right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Very glad you're able to take something away. And, I hope that as things get back to normal, if we can start thinking where you want to go now, you will be in a much better place, let's say next year when you decide to go on your trip. So the best time to start for this different experiences is now. So definitely take advantage of that and plan in advance. The other thing I wanted to say is, so if you got, no, this is not it, hold on. This is the last few minutes. If there's any questions that you have coming out from this, from tonight, please feel free to, I'm gonna leave my information here. Let me see where we are. Right here. You can find me on Instagram as the Fortune Coach, or you can email me. If you have any questions, not only creating your budget, but you have issues with credit history, credit score, investing, trying to invest for retirement, how to manage your debt. I offer consultations that are 20 minutes consultation where you can ask something specific. And I speak Spanish and English, and the calls are via Zoom. So if you have any questions, you can find me at the Fortune Coach, and I will be more than happy to answer them about tonight and any other questions that you have. Yeah. So thank you very much. And Vanessa, you can take it from here.
Oh, I was already talking and didn't even notice I was mute. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for sharing so much wisdom with us. Like that travel budget worksheet that you share, that's like gold right there. Especially that it adds all of the cost. I absolutely love that part because I'm that kind of person that I want to know like the nitty gritty and the fact that they, yeah. So thank you so much. This was incredible. I'm gonna save this. So thank goodness we recorded it. So we're gonna upload it to our YouTube channel, and more than welcome to revisit it if you think that like maybe you missed something or you just want to go over it again. Definitely check out our YouTube channel, and we're looking forward to hosting more events like this month that are workshops where you learn something tangible to make travel part of your lifestyle. I want to make sure that I see all of you out there. So this is a way to make it happen. So thank you so much, Laura, and to every single one of you for coming here and, you know, just being open to learning new things so you could travel too. So if you have any feedback, more than welcome to let me know, to reach out to Laura. I'm going to send you an email tomorrow with all of these links and also asking you for suggestions of future workshops that we can hold, because we want to make sure they're useful to you. So if you can share any information, any feedback with us, I will really appreciate it. And yes, Jose, the open table rewards are a gold mine. I can attest to that. Yes. And with the miles, I actually just went to Alaska and I only paid $11 for that flight. So definitely like getting credit cards from different airlines and sign-up bonuses and being able to use those credit cards for the expenses that you normally do. Because I mean, I put gas in my car all the time. So if a credit card is giving me 5 times the points for gas specifically, that's the credit card I'm gonna use for gas, you know? Like I remember like Amex was giving extra 10 times points for supermarkets at one point during the pandemic. So I used that card for every single time I went to the supermarket. So you just have to study like what are they giving at the moment and maximize those credit cards for the regular purchase that you will make. It's not like you're gonna go out of your way to spend, like Laura mentioned earlier. It's like your regular purchases.
Exactly.
We all go to the supermarket. We all, you know, buy a Metro card every month. So if you don't get a tax deductible through your job, just pay it with the credit card and then pay the credit card right there. Because if you don't pay the credit card in full, then you're missing the whole benefit of it.
Right.
Because
you're paying interest on.
Yeah. So thank you so much again for coming. Oh, what's Open Table? So it's a website and an app as well where you can make reservations for restaurants. So a restaurant you will normally go to, but you will just make the reservation through that platform so you can earn 100 points. And there are even some restaurants that are 1,000 points. So for every 4,000 points that you accumulate, you get, you could either redeem it in dining, you could redeem it on Amazon, or you can redeem it on Kayak. So I always redeem any points that I earn on travel related things. So I accumulated, for example, a 8,000. So I was able to redeem it for $80. So you choose how you want to redeem it. And at one point I had 20,000 points. I eat out a lot, guys. So might as well get points for that. So, and then I just redeem it. Like I said, to Guatemala, 69 cents I pay. And I booked 3 nights in Antigua for that specific hotel. It was like not even half a block from when the campana is, like the bell that we normally see in the Guatemala pictures. It was beautiful, 69 cents. And I could show you the receipt. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but those are definitely, and sometimes this, if when you have some accounts, especially with the airlines, you're able to have like free check-in bags can get checked in. Also, you can get access to different lounges that they have, like they do complimentary sometimes. So maybe that's one that you should do a session with someone that knows travel hacking with credit cards.
Yes.
So thank you very much for being here, and we see you around. You know where you can find us. So have a good night, and thank you for being here.
Yes, and stay tuned for more events. Looking forward to seeing you around and getting to know you. Have a beautiful night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.